Today, I'll show you how to make this blueberry cage that protects your precious blueberries from all the critters, the birds, the squirrels, and yet when you're ready to go and get your harvest, you raise it up and you've got complete access to the plant. Interested? Here we go. Here is just a standard small cover plant, 1-inch chicken wire, 3 feet tall, cut off a circle on the top, 2 foot, and then just bent it down. And this works really well for small plants. But for bigger plants, you have to get a little more serious. And that's what this guy is for. This is 3/4 inch PVC. And then I have, you can see it down here, a 1/2 inch metal conduit. There's 2 of them, 10 feet long, and I've driven them into the ground. And then I have 1-inch chicken wire, 4 feet, and I've made loops and I've used the different wires. Here's the green coated wire. Here's the thinner wire. There's the thicker wire for the top. And then I've made a top out of 4-foot chicken wire. These belts of wire are just to kind of keep it straight out so it doesn't encroach on the plant. And then as the plant grows, there's a 2-foot section that I've added. And now I'm going to add another 2-foot section because the plant's getting bigger. And this 3/4 inch PVC pipe on top of the 1/2 inch conduit gives me a rail on both sides to slide. And it works really well. You can do it with 1 person, it works better with 2 people, and then that protects the plant. And I've got just some old bamboo poles here, just holding it up at the right height so that I can do this chicken wire. For the chicken wire, you're gonna need gloves, and I'm going to use 4-inch cable ties. I've used bigger cable ties and just cut them off. It's nice to have a cable tie cutter. I've showed this before in other builds that I have. It really works well. It's nice to have a pair of needle nose pliers that you can bend with. And then these are some lineman pliers that you can use to cut the chicken wire with. I'm gonna start my wrap right around here. So let me kind of get the circle cut out and then I'll show you the next step. I've wrapped my chicken wire around. I've done it on the outside of the pole. Obviously it's gonna go on the inside eventually, but this just helps keep it in place. And then I'm just cutting this straight down. I want a good overlap so that there's not any holes. Squirrels and birds love blueberries. If they can find a gap, they will find it. Then you'll lose your crop. Now that I know that that's the right distance, I'm going to bring it inside here and I'm going to overlap it. You could run wire through here if you really wanted to. I'm going to get a really good size overlap on that because I think I have enough on top now. And then I'm just going to take some 4-inch ties. I'm going to go around and put the ties on first, and then I'm going to cut them all off. And since these ties are small, I'm just going to put more of them down. And then you just follow the line all the way across. And, just put them a reasonable distance. Go here. Takes a little patience, just like that. And the critters aren't going to get through there. It's adjusted down right to this, what I'm calling the 2-inch line, 1.5-inch line. So that'll be, come down here and do it again. I'll take a pause and I'll show you what it looks like after I've gone all the way around. After doing a bunch of these, make sure the thing is down. You take this part here, it's easier to run it through this way. Get a couple clicks and then pull it through like this. And then the tool will tighten it up. Made sure it was wide and equal on the bottom as it is on the top, and then I'm just taking and folding these over here to complete it out. Bend it down a little bit to make sure the birds don't get through. I've tried all sorts of plastic netting over the years. They get through that. Anything that's more than 1 inch, they get through. Some of the plastic netting is too thick. It doesn't work out well. It's pretty obvious. This chicken wire, when you walk away from it, it's kind of transparent so the neighbors don't complain. You don't have neighbors, I guess you wouldn't care, but I want to be a good neighbor. Just bend those down. You could use gloves if you so desire. Now you can see there's a gap at the bottom. You can also see that this is being held up by this bamboo stick. That's a temporary measure, but I'm gonna have to close this up pretty soon because the blueberries are starting to get ripe. And as soon as they start looking anything appetizing, the birds and squirrels will be right in here. First couple years, I lost a lot of blueberries until I came up with this approach. If you're worried about the bush being too much out this way, you can see I use twine. I use some jute twine to collect the bush together. You can also put some of these green stays in there. But I found that once I started putting these kind of things in and weaved them in, it goes around, and that kind of holds it in place, kind of like a barrel. I tried this green one right up here. It's pretty obvious, so you may want to not do that. It's totally up to you. This is the thinner wire, this is the thicker wire. Since this was towards the bottom, top, I put the thicker wire. That's like a 12-gauge wire. Since I've raised up this 2 feet, I've got to take this PVC pipe down so that it will not only hold it in place, but also allow me to raise it up all the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off the old cable ties. I'm using 11-inch cable ties, so probably overkill. Probably could easily use 8, not a problem. Okay, you can see it slides down, and then just the weight of the chicken wire is holding it there. And so just bring that down, and you can see that I have the 3/4-inch PVC over the 1/2-inch conduit. Again, this is a 10-foot section, a 1/2-inch conduit that I've pounded down into the ground, and then as I raise the cage up, it goes with that. I want to get it at the bottom here, and I'm not going to be stingy this time. I'm going to actually use a bunch of these. So I got one at the bottom, and I'm making sure that's right down flush with the ground on this side. And I'm going to go up probably another 1.5 feet, put another one, and come up here. So this not only holds the cage in place, but as I mentioned before, it is what you use to push up so that you can get free and easy access to your blueberries. Now I'm going to do the other side, same thing. I noticed when I did the other side that I have this little gap right here on this end and a little bit on the other side. What I did is I just sandwiched it down a little bit and so made sure that it was flat all the way around. I have plenty of height up there, so I'm not so worried about sacrificing another couple inches here to make sure that this thing sits flat and flush to the ground so the critters can't get underneath, because trust me, they'll get right through that. So I'm gonna have to cut these off and redo them so that it all sits down flush all the way around. I can come in here and take all the cable ties off with just a pair of lineman's pliers, but since I have this great tool and I use it all the time, I'm gonna go for this. You just pull it in like this, cranks it up real tight, and then you got to put a new one on because you've popped it off too hard. That's very rare, but it does happen. I won't pull on it so hard this time. And then I'll show you how it works. This is the magic part. You take these little clips here, I think they're like 3 inches long, and giving one to my able-bodied assistant. You could really do this but with one person, but since I'm videotaping, I'm gonna try to do it here with 2. Ready? Okay, you know the deal, right? We're gonna raise it up to about chest level. Okay, so you just raise the cage up all the way, and then you just clip this in place like that. You need to raise yours up a little bit, buddy. Actually, that's beyond shit. Okay, you're my chest level, not your chest level. Okay, so there you go. And then that allows you complete access to the blueberries in the plant. Thumbs up and comments, always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more gardening tips, cosplay, all sorts of things coming soon.